Welcome, everyone, back to Between Generations, A Life in Two Voices. We're glad you're here. So, hi, Mama. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. I'm excited. We have Raquel with us today.
Yes, she is a powerhouse. We have a very special guest on today. She's from Century 21 Masters Real Estate Agency, Raquel Ramirez. And also, she is a childhood friend of my sister's, but she's been in our family for a long time. So I have personally watched her grow. My mom has watched her grow. And it's just fantastic to see how she's flourished. She has a beautiful family and she's so successful at this work. Let me tell you, when you find her social media, you will be in for a treat. She's just rocking it in the real estate world. So I'm excited to turn it over. Raquel, welcome.
Oh my gosh. Thank you
Welcome,
guys
Raquel.
so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, tell us a little bit
Well, we're
about
glad
you.
you're here.
Tell us a little bit about you before we get started with questions.
Yes, absolutely. Well, like you mentioned, we definitely go way back. It's a beautiful story, actually, for all the way to our starts in Millbrae, right? So it's very special for me to be here with you guys. So thank you for hosting. Well, I have been in real estate for a little while, about 20 years now. And, it wasn't really what I planned to do, but here I am. And it seems like it's just, I'm making an impact in my community. And that's what I'm here for. And I'm excited to have these conversations with you and learn a little bit.
Amazing. Well, my mom's going to start the show and get started with the questions and just opening up the conversation about what you do and how you might help others get into their first home. I know I'm excited because soon that will be me. So, Mama, I'm going to pass it over to you so we can rock and roll.
Yes, sure. Okay. All right, Raquel, you ready?
I'm ready. A little nervous. I'm not going to lie, but
Okay, good.
I'm ready.
No. You'll be good. You'll be good. You know these answers. You know
Yes.
these answers.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the biggest surprise about the Northern California housing market for newcomers? Now, I want to know that.
Absolutely. So, even when interest rates are a little higher than we'd like and the economy is actually uncertain, you'd be surprised, but the Northern California markets actually remains pretty stable. Contrary to what many people think, actually, there's still high demand for homes, even though the inventory has risen, but values overall, they're staying strong. To be honest, and there's no real expectation amongst us professionals of any kind of market crash like we've seen in the past or any real dramatic price drops.
I was thinking that it's very high out there since I've been gone, and I've been out here 25 years. So
Wow.
for a newcomer to come back and buy in Northern California, do you see like the East Bay, a lot of growth there versus like the peninsula?
Oh, yes. East Bay has tremendously grown. It's really because of affordability, right? So as much as, most people would love to buy in the peninsula, San Francisco or the South Bay, for many, it's just not attainable. So just right over the bridge, whether that's Hayward or Bay Bridge, it is a lot more affordable and more attainable to be a homeowner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And it's gotten a
so
lot
close.
nicer, I think.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You have so many cities have grown and have really a lot to offer. And within just, maybe 20 minutes from the Bay, from, for example, San Francisco or like the peninsula, it's definitely a good bang for your buck, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm hearing. And Natalie, you're in the East Bay now, renting, and you're in Haymarket. No, I'm sorry, Hayward.
Yes, I'm in Hayward right now and actually curious about the market here and how affordable it might be. I am definitely new to anything around buying a home. I know nothing about it, so this is going to be a fun. conversation. But just to piggyback off the question, do you find that there are certain areas in the Bay Area that are more affordable than others? Like, I am for certain that I probably wouldn't be able to afford the peninsula. But how do you see that when you have conversations with your customers who are curious about what they can afford? How do you navigate that for them and explain to them, what's the best for them?
100%. So first things first, we always, always, always start with the pre-approval process. That's going to answer a lot of our questions from the get-go. A lot of people start sometimes backwards. They start house hunting, or it's really fun to go to open houses, of course. But we may fall in love with something that's out of our reach, realistically. So when we start with the pre-approval process, we're going to find out exactly, what's your income? How's your credit? What can you afford? You might be able to afford $1 million house, but do you like that payment, right? Or maybe there's some things we need to work on. So when we start that process, which is really simple by just gathering some documents from you, like pay stubs, W-2s, and filling out a brief application, we can have a lot of answers and options for you as well.
Okay. Awesome. I mean, yeah, when I'm ready to do this, I'm excited to work with you. So it's all good information all the way around.
Me too. Definitely. You're in good hands.
And Raquel, so once they get pre-approved, and let's say they want to go to a specific area that might not be a great area, are you allowed to say anything? Are you allowed to disclose anything about the area, or do you just ask them to do their due diligence and follow up and look, to make sure that, what maybe the crime rate is, or maybe, schools and that kind of stuff?
100%. Yeah. So I'm here as a resource and as representing you as a buyer in this particular scenario. So there is going to be a whole discovery period in the very beginning, including inspections of the home, including seller disclosures, investigating. We always advise to do our due diligence, but that also includes, like you mentioned, school rating, if that's important to you, crime rate, et cetera. So there will be definitely in the very early stages of your purchase a discovery phase that we will be able to get the data that we need to make an informed decision.
Very cool. Okay. Natalie, do you have a follow-up at all? Or?
Oh, that was great. Thank you for answering that. I mean, I think it's, it can be a kind of, I guess, a scary feeling to just think about, the expansiveness of the Bay Area and what options you have. So it sounds like, Raquel, you've been in the business for a while. So, definitely anybody who is interested in learning about, just newly buying a home, they're in good hands. So, yeah.
Yes, and we always one step at a time. As personally, I don't like to overwhelm my clients, right? But when we do start with that first step of the pre-approval, that's automatically going to tell us which direction do we need to go. That may automatically eliminate some areas that we had thought about, right? Depending on your price point. So that's always, like I said, the first step.
Raquel, when you have a customer before they become a client, do you recommend them signing a buyer agreement with you, or do you just take them through the process? Let's say they get pre-approved. At what point do you have them sign a buyer broker agreement, or do you up front?
Yes. So things have changed recently as of last August 2020 or 2024 already, last year, so a year and a half. It is required that we have a buyer broker agreement between the buyer and myself before officially showing you property. That particular, so I couldn't go out and show you homes without that particular agreement. However, those agreements can be for a one-time showing, for example, if somebody's not ready to commit for a maximum of 3 months, which is the maximum period for those buyer broker agreements. There are other ways that we can navigate that. However, before I officially start working with a client, I like to be interviewed. I like to interview them to see if they were a good fit. I provide a lot of information, a buyer's presentation and guidebook up front, which will tell them all about me, my experience, my credentials, a bunch of testimonials I've gathered through the years, a little bit of information on what they can expect through the buying process so that they have something that they can make a decision and feel good about it rather than just having them sign something right off the bat.
It's good. Yeah. Some things have changed. And I remember when I was selling real estate, you could get a buyer broker agreement. I liked to because it wasn't anything that was in stone. So they could, sign a buyer agreement with me. And then if they wanted to leave, there's nothing stopping them if they wanted to find another agent. It was just security for us. It's my time, my energy. And, again, we're giving out information. And so you kind of want them to work with you if it is, of course, a good fit. So it's good information. Good information.
Yeah, and you make a good point. That is, at the end of the day, this a broker agreement is designed for full transparency. So
Yes.
what to expect from me, and I know that you're going to be committed to working with me because, like you said, Marve, we do work hard. I know realtors,
Yeah.
we use a lot of our capital, sometimes for months, just helping clients find the right home. So it does ensure that we also eventually, if we find the right home for you, that we also get compensated for our time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So what inspired you to become a real estate agent and why?
That's a great question. So actually, I started in the mortgage industry as a good old telemarketer. It was just a regular job, 9 to 5, thought nothing of it. Had no intentions of going that direction. But I realized pretty quickly that I connected with people over the phone. That's something that eventually grew to other opportunities. I did pretty well in the telemarketing area, and then I was able to expand into other positions, including processing mortgage loans. Eventually, I led the whole mortgage office, and it led to opportunities with regular real estate transactions. So they go hand in hand, right? Loans and real estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really realized it took me some time to understand that I guess I don't know if you want to call it superpower humbly, or my gift or my strength is really trust. And that's not something that you really have in real estate very frequently. I really saw, that I could help people, especially being Hispanic and being fluent in Spanish. I saw a real need for guidance in our community. And that kind of just opened up the doors. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, real estate is not about property. It's about making connections, relationships, people, right? It's a people business. And I just want to help make a difference. And that's kind of what fills my cup. And here we are 20 years later.
Yeah. I can't believe it's been 20 years. That is unreal.
I can't either.
Thinking 20 years. Wait a minute. You've known, I mean, we've known each other for like 30 years because I'm thinking, middle school,
90.
So it's terrific.
It's a beautiful thing. And I really, I remember those humble beginnings of just, growing up with not much, but feeling like we had everything. And I feel like that upbringing and my parents, morals and values, and that's something that I carry with me always, and that's who I am.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So I'm going to change this question a little bit because you're already doing a lot of your own marketing. So tell us how that works. You're doing a lot of social media marketing. So do you do with the company and then on your own?
So yeah, so most of it I do on my own. At the end of the day, we're independent contractors. Century 21 is a great brand and it's been around forever, but it doesn't mean anything if us as individuals don't work hard, right? Um, and in this industry particularly, you have to hustle, as they say.
Okay.
So marketing is super important overall. I mean, I'm blessed now that 20 years later, I would say vast majority of my business comes from referrals, past clients, friends, family, etc. However, we as individuals, we're very forgetful. So if you are not in front of people, they have a real estate need, they're going to forget about you unless they're constantly seeing you or receiving something from you, etc. So social media obviously is a big game changer, and videos and just educating people, but also I like to make it fun and also personally see a glimpse of who I am as a person. And that's why I'm a real estate mom. Family is my number one, thing. So you get a glimpse of all that. And I think people really enjoy that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great that you have, I think I've seen a couple of, a while back you had the kids with you. It's very interactive. You're on your social media. So that's terrific. And they seem to be having fun too. So,
Oh, they
it's
do.
great.
They do. They don't
It's
mind
great.
a microphone. You hand them a microphone and they'll have plenty to say.
Yeah. 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 So are you seeing more downsizing or upsizing trends today?
That's a great question as well. And the answer will probably surprise you. What we're seeing a lot of is people staying put. And reason why, again, it's affordability. A lot of people have these 2 to 3% interest rates that they were able to obtain during COVID times. So it's really, really hard to trade at 2 to 3% to maybe 6 to 6.5, which is what you would get in today's market. So what we see is a lot of people working with the space that they do have. So for example, they might do some renovations or, updating, or maybe if they have the space, they'll build an ADU, like an in-law or accessory dwelling unit, to make their needs work. That is a big thing out here in California, in the Bay Area, for sure, ADUs.
The multifamily, so people are coming together, like qualifying together?
Both. People are qualifying together, sometimes multiple families, sometimes if you have older children maybe that are still living with you, build them a separate unit within the same property. And it has been made recently a lot easier to be able to obtain the necessary permits and a lot more affordable. So that is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
But
it's an idea.
Yeah.
It really.
Absolutely. But also, besides that, definitely you can see downsizing or with their empty nesters or older generation. They're definitely trading bigger homes for low maintenance, smaller, more maintainable properties. A lot of our senior community also moving closer to their children or to their grandchildren. That's really important too. So we see a lot of that as well, or moving out of state.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or maybe mothers would like to go back to their children.
That too.
So, yeah. What do you like? What do you prefer? Do you prefer listings, or do you prefer the buyers, taking buyers out?
Okay. That's a hard one. So listings, of course, are, you have a little bit more control of your income. Meaning like you have a listing, you're the one agent that's going to sell it. Unless for some reason it doesn't sell, you're getting paid. So that's nice. So security, but there's nothing like the satisfaction of handing over keys to a family at the end of it. Especially knowing that you played a small role in them now having something to pass on to their kids, or, having their dream home, or just nothing like it. So I guess maybe I'd say buyers.
Yeah, I think the buyers, sometimes it's a lot easier to deal with the buyers because it's different. They're looking. So it's exciting to go into different homes and you have different features and things like that versus the sellers, they have an idea of what their home should sell for. And you have the data of what it's really the market value is. So that can be challenging, I'm sure. I'm sure.
This has been challenging, particularly the last year and a half, because as sellers, they were used to the hot market homes flying off the shelves, way over list price,
Yeah.
no contingencies. That has changed. So, but a lot of sellers do not still understand that. So it definitely can be challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. My last question, then we're going to turn it over to Ms. Natalie. How do you handle people who ask to see multiple properties but can't decide to buy?
It happens. It happens. Here we go. So it's really important to establish from the very beginning and understand what is your goal. What's your priority, and basically we go from there. So let me give you an example. Is it being close to work and being close to school, location, right? Or is it having your dream home that you always imagine, which may mean you have to commute? Or maybe it's sticking to a particular budget, right? So that's really important to understand from the beginning. Now, I can help you come back to that when we're having, these issues or this indecisiveness. But also it's important to know that can change while we're actively searching. You may think that what you wanted was to be really close to work, but nothing that you're finding is really what you need or want. Or you may think that, okay, I want this crazy big house, but then realize I'm not willing to spend 3 hours on the road, right? So that can change. But, ultimately being understanding the emotions that come along with the purchase and being patient is key.
I have one quick story. I took a couple out and I always said, I'm going to limit. It's my limit in my mind was 10 homes. That's it. That's the limit within your budget. We're seeing 10 homes and that's it. Well, this kid, he worked for Tesla and he was just real assertive and he had his parents come in from out of town and he wanted to go all over the place. So I said, okay, I'm going to make an exception. They're nice people. We had gotten up to the 20th house and I finally said, Jack, they all look the same, don't they? After a while, what you can afford, it starts to look the same. When you go to multiple houses, here's your kitchen, here's this, and he did say, and the parents agreed too because they came with him. They agreed that after a while, these houses start to look the same. So let's pick one. What are we buying? So anyway, it can get unruly unless you establish those limitations, right? It's difficult because people are so excited and they want to go see this house and that house, but it's like after a while, they just all look the same. So let's just pick one.
Oh my gosh. I give it up to you. 20 homes. I think my maximum one time was like 14, 15.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's not good. It's not good for us. And it's definitely not good for the buyer. Yeah. Like you said, they all look the same, or there's just, you cannot possibly keep them straight after maybe like 7 or 8.
Yeah. Oh, real quick. Do you ever have issues with safety? Like, do you ever feel, and then I'll turn it over to you, Natalie, I promise.
Yeah. This is good combo.
Up until recently, it's not something that I really gave thought to, but I'm sure we've all heard of recent incidents where there's been, a murder of a realtor, for example. So recently I have been starting to be more aware of my surroundings, especially when I'm doing like open houses. And we're trying to implement now, like not doing open house, especially as a female, right? As a woman, not doing open houses by ourselves. And also,
Yes.
I would never meet a new buyer, for example, somewhere private. It would always be in an office setting or some public place. But even then, before even meeting a buyer, I usually will get them pre-qualified first, or, so we don't have these kind of situations arise. But I am definitely becoming more aware of that.
Yeah, it's important. It's something that I didn't give any thought to. But of course, Virginia, you carry a gun, right?
Right.
So there were plenty of times when, and I don't have a gun and I didn't carry mace, but I didn't think of that. I just, people are excited. They want to go out and they want to see a home. And of course you want to go out and show them. So that came to mind spontaneously because I thought I got to ask her about safety. But anyway, Miss Natalie, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay.
Now. Thank you, Raquel.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Safety is a good one. That's a great question, Ma. Well, now that we got some foundation, this is exciting, but I kind of have an off-ball question that I just came to my head that I have to ask. It's not embedded in my set of questions. And mine are tailored to a particular group of people who've been dealing with bankruptcy. So I will get to that. So the off-ball question is, do you think AI is going to take over agents' positions? Like, I'm just curious about this because as we're talking through the layers of it, there is a lot of time that is invested in your clients and finding exactly what they want. So in my head, I'm thinking, gosh, we've got so many different AI platforms and things going on now that who's to say that you couldn't just click on an avatar, ask it what you want, and it can do all the data for you. I mean, come on, we have ChatGPT now, which can literally do everything. So I'm just curious your take on that. And if you're worried about it and if, you I don't know, had any conversations with your colleagues about it.
Honestly, it is something that has come up, I think, in every field for people are wondering, is AI going to take over, right? I'm not worried about it. I feel like, honestly, there is no way as an AI or robot could ever understand all the ups and downs of a transaction and the emotional aspect, as I mentioned. As realtors, I mean, we tend to be counselors and,
Yeah.
a little bit of everything when it comes to the transaction. And, there's just no way that an AI would ever be able to handle certain situations personally. Can it enhance us as realtors? Can it help us improve our services? Absolutely. I use it all the time now. And I think that it could potentially weed out some of like the not necessarily bad agents, but some of the agents that are not giving it their all or not to par with, with what we should be doing. But yeah, it'll definitely weed out some of the bad ones, but I don't think it will completely replace any realtor for the value that we bring to the table. And the human aspect is just, you cannot replace that.
Yeah, that human element.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm glad that I asked that because I think that for the young ones, right, that are going into new careers, do you think this is a viable career? Do you think it's something that young ones should be considering going into, financially? Is it a good choice? I mean, I think the other half of that is personality, right? Like, are you good with people? Are you good with marketing? Are you good with selling? Do you have that voice and kind of that niche for, kind of intuitively knowing like what they might want? And you definitely rock that with your marketing. I mean, I want to go and talk to you. You make it so, right? So I have to be curious about, buying a home. But yeah, for those viewers that are listening that are just thinking about whether they are on the fence of whether they want to get into real estate, what do you think?
Well, thank you for your kind words. That means everything. It's a great profession. Many people think I want to be a realtor. They just think lots of money to be made, right? But like anything, especially as this profession, you have to be the first 2 years, first year for sure, first 2 years. You have to grind. And if you're not willing to put in the work, it's not going to be for you. It's not something that's going to come overnight. You also have to have some sort of saving to be able to get you by, because obviously we don't have a regular paycheck, or you have to have maybe a part-time or something on the side, because we all have to pay bills. We have to, if we have families, we have to support our families. So that's something that, we have to plan for. But yes, personality is very important. You have to be social, be able to talk to people all the time. Be social. It's not so much about selling. I mean, sure, you can be a salesman and sell anything, but like I said, if you have their true intentions at heart, I feel like you'll thrive. But definitely not for everybody, not for the weak or the faint of heart.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your response. And immediately I thought, I remember when I checked out Selling Sunset. That's a completely different demographic to sell, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it is interesting because I wonder, can you choose the area that you want to sell in? Like, Selling Sunset, that's high profile homes. Those are over millions and millions of dollars. So like, can you just jump in? If that's the market that you want to cater to? Like, I'm curious about that. Like, how did they get there? Or do you choose that you want to help those that are, in the middle income or the lower income, and just, also wrap your services around them and give them that opportunity and that joy too,
Right, definitely. Well, I'll tell you a little. Selling Sunset is nothing like real estate really is. Obviously, it's all glamour.
I bet. I figured.
It's fun to watch for sure. But for example, luxury real estate, it's not something that you usually just jump into. It's something that you grow into, connections, being at the right place at the right time. That's something that usually eventually you can grow into, as I mentioned. In the early stages of real estate, you're going to help out whoever wants to talk to you. You know what I mean? Whoever's willing to let you help them. So, and then that's how you build obviously experience. And eventually down the line, when you have enough transactions, you can kind of pick and choose, for example, who you want to work with or what area you want to work with. But in the beginning stages, you're going to work with anybody that wants to work with you.
Okay.
Even, the smallest transaction, but it's important to get that under your belt.
Okay.
And build credibility too.
Fair enough. And it's why I asked, because I know viewers are curious if they want to sell luxurious homes. You got to grind. You start with the foundation.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Ma, did you have anything you wanted
Absolutely.
to add on to that or ask?
I wanted to ask you, what is Sunset?
Selling Sunset. Yeah, Raquel, you're familiar with it, right? It's in
The show, right?
the LA area, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, so, but there are different shows, but I just caught it on Netflix and I was like, oh, what's this? I cannot
That's
connect with
your
it.
homework. You're going to have to.
Yeah, check it out.
You're going to
It's
have
on
to check it out.
Netflix. Yeah, it's a show. It's selling luxury homes, but it's just, you get caught up in the glam, the personality, the properties are just amazing. I didn't even know
Yeah.
they existed. So it's just interesting to see, the dichotomy between properties and if you've got this much money, this is legit what you can have,
Yeah.
So it's just interesting.
I think that they, I mean, I'm just thinking that when you're selling in that kind of a market, it's almost like you're not human anymore. Do you know what I mean? Raquel, do you know what I mean? Like, you're not, it's all show. I'm sure there are plenty of agents out there that are humble, but when you get into that kind of sales, it's a whole different, like, everything changes,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't want to change who I am to fit into, for example, luxury homes, I mean, it's almost like a facade, really, and it just brings to mind quickly, there is a luxury area not too far. It's in Virginia, old money. It's called Middleburg. I mean, old money. And the homes are not cookie cutter. They're it's all, horse country and beautiful mansions. And I was going to show a property there, but I had to get approval from like the town, and it's like, well, who are you? You're with Remax Regency. And it was almost like, what are you doing here? And I felt really put off by that, because it doesn't matter if you're worth $1 billion agency or a small agency. A buyer is a buyer, whether it just doesn't matter. And we shouldn't be judged by that. But I had to go through so many hoops to be able to get into this $1 million home to show this buyer that, yeah, you had the money, of course. But it was just the hoops I had. How did they find you? Why are you, why didn't they call us in our town? So it left a horrible taste in my mouth, but it just, so.
Yeah, it's true. You see that a lot,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, again.
I mean, like I said, every real estate agency is different, and I think they cater to different demographics. And I think for viewers who are listening, do your homework. I mean, you will be in good hands with the person, agency, groups of people that you choose to work with. And right now, Raquel is one of them. So let's get back to staying on task. So one question that I thought was important was for the first-time home buyers. So is there anything that you think they overlook or regret not asking in this process? Is there anything you want to put out there, PSA, for home buyers to think about?
Yeah, I can think of a couple things. One, I think sometimes a lot buyers overlook is maintenance. For example, sometimes systems of the homes, like your HVAC, your electrical, plumbing, they don't announce when they're going to go out, right? So it's important, very important early on, especially with the help of your professional like myself, to do all your due diligence, not only through inspections, seller disclosing any kind of these material facts. It's important to know that, but also to be prepared, for example, with a home warranty by purchasing a home warranty in the transaction. I'm a big believer in those because they've saved me a lot of money with my homes, so that you're prepared if something does actually need repair or replacement. But most importantly, to have a rainy day savings in the event that you need to, come up with anything for those to address those repairs. That's one. And then also, I think another one is many restrictions possibly. For example, with HOAs, homeowners associations, sometimes people don't realize that they come with certain rules, certain rental restrictions, or you can't park big vehicles here, or you have pet restrictions. So again, with the help of someone like myself, we're going to be able to discover that up front and make sure that you make an informed decision. But a lot of people don't actually really look into that. And then when they're living there, they realize, oh, this is not what I was expecting. Or even for resale purposes, it's important to know those kinds of things.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. There you have it. Okay, so I want to switch gears a little bit. Like I said, this is a demographic of individuals that might have gone through bankruptcy and they just think like, no, I'm never going to be able to buy a home. Like I've totally messed up my credit and there is just no hope. So I just figured, it's just honesty, right? Like it is what it is. We need credit for things. We will always need credit for things. So that's why I figured I would ask you these questions, Raquel. So answer as you see fit. And, viewers, I hope this helps. So the first one is, are there any lenders or programs that work with buyers who have filed bankruptcy within the last year?
Yes. The answer is yes. You can absolutely buy a home if you've had bankruptcy. There's a couple of things we need to consider. So, for example, the type of bankruptcy, when and how, if it was discharged or dismissed, and your current credit recovery process, right? Your current credit at the moment. So FHA, which is Federal Housing Administration, it's a U.S. agency. They do offer programs for bankruptcy minimum 1 year, but usually they like to see 2. 2 years off bankruptcy.
Okay, perfect.
That's good information.
Yeah. So can you recommend any credit repair or homebuyer education programs for people who are interested in just understanding, all right, what are the next steps? What do I need to do to prepare myself for this process?
Yeah. So here's what I wrote. Credit is something that can be very easy to fix, very volatile at the same time, sensitive.
Mhm.
It's just a whole animal, really. But the most important thing I would say is to monitor your credit regularly, at least once a year. Pull your credit, your full credit report. You can do that through annualcreditreport.com for free.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you're able to discover any kind of errors, mistakes, fraudulent activity that you can address right away, as opposed to waiting. Because, sometimes the longer you wait, the more damage there is to your credit. So that is a huge tip. Everybody should be doing that. From there are other agencies or counselors, for example, through HUD, which is a Housing and Urban Development Agency. They do have different counselors depending on your credit situation. They also have home buyer education courses. And a lot of people don't know, but there's also a lot of down payment assistance programs available. You do not need 20%, like many, that's a huge myth. You do not need 20% to buy a home. You could buy a home with as little as 3%. And even then, these programs can help you come up with all or most of your down payment. So you're coming up with little to nothing out of your own pocket.
Wow. 3%. I mean, of course, the numbers, yeah, it might still sound a little bit big, but still 3% is definitely doable. Which is why you can help to curate and put the boundaries there so that we know what we can afford. Did you have anything, Maya, you wanted to add to that?
Were you talking to me?
Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No. I just, that's great because they're doing more now. And I don't know if it's state by state. Maybe, there's different rules in California versus Virginia. So that's excellent for first-time home buyers because when I was selling, you had to wait 3 years. And of course, building up your credit. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Wow.
Yes, there's a lot more flexibility. But also it just starts with, again, talking to a realtor, talking to a loan officer so we can see your particular scenario and build the perfect plan for you. I did want to add also there is a third round of the California Dream for All program. And I'm not sure if you've heard of that before, but it's been a very popular program because it helps you with 20% down payment towards your down payment. They are doing that a little bit different now. It's kind of a lottery system, but 20% is a big chunk of money.
Yes.
I mean, yes. I mean, if you're talking about let's just say conservatively 700,000 home, 20%, you're talking about $140,000 in down payment assistance, which makes a big difference to your payments.
Okay, great. And then
It's huge.
Where can we find that information? Should we just Google it, or what's the best place to find that?
Yeah, you can easily Google California Dream for All Down Payment Assistance Program, and it is coming up pretty soon here. I believe first couple months of the year, I think February, March, they start to take applications. So my advice is I've been able to get a couple of 2 or 3 different families with this assistance in the past. The key is being ready, meaning being fully pre-approved and knowing what your options are so that when this rolls out, you may be able to take advantage of it.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you mentioned the pre-approval part. Okay. So how long does it take a client to typically wait before they can qualify for a mortgage after filing for bankruptcy?
Yeah, so the perfect timing usually is at least the 2-year mark. The 2-year mark is what they ideally look for.
Okay, perfect. So have you worked with anybody that's gone through this process? Like they've filed for bankruptcy and so they're in this spot of where I don't know what to do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I worked with all kinds of scenarios. Definitely, these bankruptcy is not an exception. So the main thing I could say is for anyone who's been through bankruptcy, it's really important to understand how we got there, right? A lot of times, and most of the time, it's these unforeseen circumstances or life events, right, that happens to all of us, or can happen to any one of us. Sometimes it's unfortunate or bad financial decisions, right? So it's just really important to understand how we got there first so that we can prepare you and educate the consumer on the right path, right? I personally thrive on educating my clients. It's not about selling a home to you. It's about setting you up for success to make sure that when I do hand those keys, you're in a good spot. You're not going to be risking your home at any point because you know everything. You've taken the steps to get there and you're going to be successful.
Yeah, great point. Okay. So is there
And
anything
Bill,
lastly that you want to tell viewers? Any, top 5, hey, do this, or after you watch this podcast, do this, or anything else that you want to add?
thank you. I think the main point I like to come across is if you're thinking to buy a home, whether it's now or in the next 6 months, a year, the most important thing is to talk to a professional like myself, see where you are today. You may be very well ready to go. Some people think, oh, no, I'm not going to be ready until I pay this off or do this. You may be ready to go and take advantage of today's market. Today, right now, we're seeing a lot of opportunities for buyers, plenty, sometimes getting away with lower prices than the list price or repairs or credits for closing costs. Or, we have a lot of negotiating power right now. Or sometimes maybe you need to take some steps and we're going to be able to tell you exactly what you need to do to get to that goal within a short period of time. But if you don't know, you're going to come back to me or you're going to come in a year and maybe you're not ready in a year, but you would have been had you started the conversations early.
Perfect. There you have it, viewers. Said from the mouth of an amazing real estate agent. Okay.
Amazing.
Mama,
Thank
do you have
ladies.
anything else that you want to add before we close out the show?
I do. Yes, I wanted to ask her. So, Raquel, do you do rentals as well? And then, maybe those people aren't ready yet, and maybe in a year or so they are, or does somebody else do rentals for you?
Yes, I actually get asked that pretty often. I personally don't do rentals, but I do have a partner who does property management and can assist us with rentals as well.
Okay, cool. That's good. And one more thing, how does your referral service work? Like you can do referrals. So just tell us a little bit about that process too.
Absolutely. And I'm assuming you're referring to referrals to other agents out of area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or somebody, from here that wants to get a hold of you, like that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And I get a lot of my business from out of area agents who have,
Good.
Yeah, I do actually do their research because of my experience, and I have close to 150 client testimonials and reviews. A lot of agents see that, and I get a lot of calls to assist them with their clients locally. So I do help anyone who needs assistance with that. I do offer a 25% referral fee for that as a thank you, and they can be sure that their clients are going to be well taken care of.
Okay, good. So Natalie, if you have somebody moving out of state, Raquel would do the work, find that agent for your friend or somebody that you know. So it's a win-win, Again, like we talked about earlier, when you find somebody, an agent that you really trust, you want them, it's like a hairdresser. You want them forever. And they can, so it's very sweet. But I do want to say something publicly. I want to say it publicly so that our viewers can know just how special you are. Several years ago, my son passed away, and you came to the funeral, and I was sitting by myself, And I remember that you came and sat down next to me and you asked me if I was okay. You were the only one that did that. And I never forgot that. So I appreciate that. Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh. Of
Thank you.
course, you guys are family. I love you all. And I love your sister, Nat. Oh my gosh, she's very special to my heart. So, and we have so many memories together. I mean, like I said, we are family. I'll always be here for you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's such a sweet
Thank you
memory.
so much.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing that. You're about to
Yeah.
make me cry.
Yeah. She was the only one. Everybody was in there, you know, it was a mess. But she came and sat very quietly next to me and asked me if I was okay. And I never forgot that. Never.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
I
Wow.
appreciate that.
Thank you for sharing that.
That's beautiful.
We love you. We love you.
I love you more.
And now viewers know how
Okay, so-
trustworthy you are and that you're just an amazing human being
Yes.
with an amazing personality. And let me tell you, I am sure home buying can be a very scary process. So of course, you want to build rapport with the person who's going to be handing over those keys and the whole process in between. So that is definitely Raquel. So viewers, I hope that this was educational. I hope that you enjoyed all of the questions. If you have anything else that you would like to know, Raquel, where can viewers find you?
Yes.
Yes, of course. So I can be easily reached. Calls, texts at my direct cell phone number, 510-432-0662. Or you can check out my website, Raquel at real estate by actually, that's my email, Raquel at realestatebyraquel.net. So whatever you need. Or Instagram, I am also as I am Raquel Ramirez. So reach out. I'm here for you.
Amazing.
We're going to put a link in the podcast for her.
Yeah.
So that we'll see it.
Yes.
And so is this the time that we tell our viewers to like and smash the like button and subscribe?
Yes, please do.
Yes, please.
It tells the algorithm to push out our podcast to a wider audience and just, keeps us going. So thank you again, viewers, for joining us today on this amazing talk. And it was great to talk with both of you. And we are now into the last bits of December. So happy holiday for those of you that celebrate Christmas. Merry Christmas. And for those of you who don't, enjoy your family. Enjoy the time. This is such a beautiful time of year. It's one of my favorites. So thank you again, Raquel. Happy holiday. I hope that you have a very nice break. And anyways, we will see you next time.
Thank you guys so much for having me.